Did you hear what I was playing, Lane?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
I'm sorry for that, for your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately. But I play with a wonderful expression. As far as the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the science of life, have you got the cucumber sandwiches cut for Lady Bracknell?
Yes, sir.
By the way, I see from your book that on Thursday night, when Lord Shorman and Mr. Worthing were dining with me, 8 bottles of champagne are entered as having been consumed.
Yes, sir. 8 bottles and a pint.
Why is it that at a bachelor's establishment, the servants invariably drink the champagne? I ask merely for information.
I attribute it to the superior quality of the wine, sir. I have often observed that in married households, the champagne is rarely of a first-rate brand.
Good heavens, is marriage so demoralizing as that?
I believe it is a very pleasant state, sir. I've had very little experience of it myself up to the present. I was married once, and that was in consequence of a misunderstanding between myself and a younger person.
I don't know that I'm much interested in your family life, Lane.
No, sir. It is not very interesting. I never think of it myself.
Yes, very natural, I'm sure. That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Really, Lane's views on marriage seem somewhat lax. If the lower orders can't set us a good example, then what on earth is the use of them? They seem as a class who have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Mr. Ernest Worthing.
How are you, my dear Ernest? What brings you up to town?
Oh, pleasure, pleasure. What else should bring one anywhere? Eating as usual, I see, Algy.
I believe it is customary in good society to take some slight refreshment at 5 o'clock. Where have you been since Thursday?
In the country.
What on earth do you do there?
When one is in town, one amuses oneself. When one is in the country, one amuses other people. Just excessively boring.
And who are these people you amuse?
Oh, neighbours, neighbours.
Got nice neighbours in your part of Shropshire?
Perfectly horrid. Never speak to one of them.
How immensely you must amuse them. By the way, Shropshire is your county, is it not?
Shropshire? Yes, of course. Hello, why all these cups? Why cucumber sandwiches? Why such reckless extravagance in one so young? Who is coming to tea?
Oh, merely Aunt Augusta and Gwendolen.
How perfectly delightful.
Yes. That is all very well, but I'm afraid Aunt Augusta won't quite approve of your being here.
May I ask why?
My dear fellow, the way you flirt with Gwendolen is perfectly disgraceful. It's almost as bad as the way Gwendolen flirts with you.
I am in love with Gwendolen. I came up to town expressly to propose to her.
I thought you said you had come here for pleasure. I call that business.
How utterly unromantic you are.
I do not think there is anything romantic in proposing. Why, one may be accepted. One usually is, I believe. Then the excitement is all gone. The very essence of romance is unsettled. If I ever get married, I shall certainly try to forget the fact.
I have no doubt about that, dear Algy. The divorce code was specifically made for those whose memories were so curiously constituted.
There is no use debating on that subject. Divorces are made in heaven. Please, don't touch the cucumber sandwiches. They are ordered specially for Aunt Augusta.
But you've been eating them all the time.
This is quite a different matter. She's my aunt. Have some bread and butter. The bread and butter is for Gwendolen. Gwendolen is devoted to bread and butter.
Very good, bread and butter it is too.
My dear fellow, you need not eat as if you're going to eat it all. You act as if you are married to her already. You are not married to her already, and I don't think you ever will be.
Why on earth do you say that?
Well, in the first place, girls never marry the men they flirt with. Girls don't think it right.
Oh, that's nonsense.
It isn't. It is a great truth. And it accounts for the extraordinary number of bachelors that one sees all over the place. And in the second place, I don't give my consent.
Your consent?
My dear fellow, Gwendolen is my first cousin, and before I allow you to marry her, you will have to clear up the whole question of Cecily.
Cecily? What on earth do you mean by Cecily, Algy? I don't know anyone of the name of Cecily.
Go fetch the cigarette case Mr. Worthing left in the smoking room last time he died here.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean to say you've had my cigarette case all this time? I wish to goodness you had let me know. I was very nearly offering a large reward about it.
Well, I wish you would have for one. I happen to be more than usually hard up.
There's no sense in offering a large reward now that the thing has been found.
Well, I think that is rather mean of you, Ernest, I must say. However, it is of no matter. For now that I look at the inscription inside, I find that the thing isn't yours after all.
Of course it's mine. You've seen me with it 100 times. Besides, it isn't a very gentlemanly thing to read one's private cigarette case.
Oh, it is absurd to have hard, fast rules about what one should read and what one shouldn't. Nearly half of modern culture depends on what one shouldn't read.
I'm quite aware of that, but I don't propose to discuss modern culture. Just give it back to me, Algy.
Yes, but this is not your cigarette case. This cigarette case is a gift from someone of the name Cecily. And you said you did not know anyone of that name.
Well, if you must know, Cecily is my aunt.
Your aunt?
Yes, charming old lady she is too. Lives in Tunbridge Wells.
But why does your aunt, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, call herself Little Cecily? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love.
My dear fellow, what on earth is there in that? Some aunts are tall, some aunts are not tall. That's something surely an aunt may be allowed to decide for herself. You seem to think that every aunt should be exactly like your aunt. That is absurd. Just give me back my cigarette case.
Yes, but why does your small Aunt Cecily, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, call you her uncle? From Little Cecily, with her fondest love to her dear Uncle Jack. There is no objection, I'll admit, to not being a small aunt, but why any aunt, no matter what her size may be, should call her own nephew her uncle, I can't quite make out. Besides, your name isn't Jack at all. It's Ernest.
It isn't Ernest. It's Jack.
You have always told me it was Ernest. I have always introduced you to everyone as Ernest. You answer to the name of Ernest. You look as if your name was Ernest. You are one of the most earnest-looking people I have ever saw in my life. It's absolutely absurd you're saying your name isn't Ernest. It's on your card. Mr. Ernest Worthing, B4, the Albany W. I'll keep this as proof if ever you attempt to deny it to me, or to Gwendolen, or to anyone else.
Well, my name is Ernest in town and Jack in the country, and the cigarette case was given to me in the country.
Yes, but that does not explain why your small Aunt Cecily, who lives in Tunbridge Wells, calls you her dear uncle. Come on, boy, you had much better have the thing out at once.
My dear fellow, you talk exactly as if you were a dentist. It's a very vulgar thing to talk like a dentist when one isn't a dentist. It produces a false impression.
Well, that is exactly what dentists always do. Now go on, tell me, why are you Ernest in town and Jack in the country? I may mention that I have always suspected you of being a secret and confirmed bumberist.
Bumberist?
I'm quite sure of it now.
What on earth is a bumberist?
I'll reveal to you the meaning of that incomparable expression as soon as you are kind enough to inform me why you are Ernest in town and Jack in the country.
Well, produce my cigarette case first.
Here it is. Now, produce your explanation, and pray make it improbable.
My dear fellow, there's nothing improbable about my explanation at all. In fact, it is perfectly ordinary. Old Mr. Thomas Cardew, who adopted me when I was a little boy, made me, in his will, guardian to his granddaughter, Miss Cecily Cardew. Cecily, who addresses me as her uncle, from motives of respect that you could not possibly appreciate, lives at my place in the country, under the charge of her admirable governess, Miss Prism.
Where is that place in the country, by the way?
That is nothing to you, dear boy. You will not be invited. However, I can tell you quite frankly that the place is not in Shropshire.
Oh, I suspected that, my dear fellow. I have bumbered all over Shropshire on 2 separate occasions. Now go on, tell me, why you went in town in Jack in the country?
My dear Algy, I don't know whether you will be able to understand my real motives. You are hardly serious enough. When one is placed in the position of guardian, one must adopt a high moral tone on all subjects. It is one's duty to do so. And as a high moral tone can hardly be said to conduce very much for either oneself or one's happiness, in order to get up to town, I have always pretended to have a younger brother of the name of Ernest, who lives in the Albany and gets into the most dreadful scrapes. That, my dear friend, is the whole truth, pure and simple.
The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Modern life would be very tedious if it were either, and modern literature would be a complete impossibility.
That wouldn't at all be a bad thing.
Literary criticism is not my forte. Don't try it. You should leave that to people who haven't been at a university. They do it so well in the daily papers. What you really are is a bummerist. I was quite right in saying you were a bummerist. You are one of the most advanced bummerists that I know.
What on earth do you mean?
You have invented a younger brother by the name of Ernest, in order that you may be able to come up to the town as often as you like. I have invented a perfectly invaluable kind of invalid called bumbering. Bumbering is perfectly invaluable. If it were not for his extraordinary bad health, for instance, I would not be able to dine with you tonight at Will's, for I have really been engaged to Aunt Augusta for more than a week.
I haven't asked you to dine with me anywhere tonight.
I know. It is extremely careless of you, not sending out invitations. Nothing annoys people so much as not receiving invitations.
You had much better dine with your Aunt Augusta.
I haven't any intention of doing anything of the kind. To begin with, I dine there on Monday, and once a week is quite enough to dine with one's own relations. In the second place, whenever I do dine there, I am always treated as a member of the family, and sent down with either no woman at all or 2. And in the third place, I know perfectly well whom she will place me next to tonight. She will place me next to Mary Farquhar, who always flirts with her own husband across the dinner table. That is not very pleasant. It's not even decent. And that sort of thing is enormously on the increase. The number of women in London who flirt with their own husbands is perfectly scandalous. It looks so bad. It's simply washing one's clean linen in public. Besides, now that I know you to be a bumburyist, I naturally want to talk to you about bumburying. I want to tell you the rules.
I'm not a bumburyist at all. If Gwendolen accepts me, I'm going to kill my brother. Indeed, I think I will in any case. Cecily is a little too much interested in him. He's rather a bore. So I'm going to get rid of Ernest, and I advise you to do the same with your with that invalid friend, with that absurd name.
Nothing will induce me to part with Bunbury, and if you ever get married, which seems extremely problematic, you will be very happy to know him. A man who marries without knowing Bunbury has a very tedious time of it.
Well, that's nonsense. If I marry a charming girl like Gwendolen, and she's the only girl in my life that I would marry, I certainly wouldn't want to know Bunbury.
Then your wife will. You don't seem to understand that in a married life, 3 is company and 2 is none.
That, my dear young friend, is the theory that the corrupt French drama has been propounding for the last 50 years.
Yes, and that the happy English home has proved in half the time.
For heaven's sakes, don't try to be cynical. It's perfectly easy to be cynical.
My dear fellow, it isn't easy to be anything nowadays. There's such a lot of beastly competition about. Ah, that would be Aunt Augusta. Only relatives or creditors ever ring in that Wagnerian manner. Now, if I can get her out of the way for 10 minutes, so that you may have an opportunity of proposing to Gwendolen, may I dine with you tonight at Will's?
I suppose so, if you want to.
Yes, but you must be serious about it. I hate when people aren't serious about meals. So shallow.
Lady Bracknell and Miss Fairfax.
Good afternoon, Algernon. I hope you are behaving very well.
I'm feeling very well, Augusta.
That's not quite the same thing. In fact, the 2 things rarely go together.
My, Gwendolen, you are smart.
I am
always smart, aren't I, Mr. Worthing?
You're quite perfect, Miss Fairfax.
Oh, I hope I am not that. It would leave no room for developments, and I intend to develop in many directions.
I'm sorry if we are a little late, Algernon, but I was obliged to call on dear Lady Horbury. I hadn't been there since her poor husband's death. I never saw a woman so altered. She looks quite 20 years younger. And now I'll have a cup of tea and one of those nice cucumber sandwiches you promised me.
Certainly, Aunt Augusta.
Won't you come and sit here, Gwendolyn?
Thanks, Mama. Quite comfortable where I am.
Good heavens, Lane! Why are there no cucumber sandwiches? I ordered them specially.
There were no cucumbers in the market this morning, sir. I went down twice.
No cucumbers?
No, sir, not even for ready money.
That will do, Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm greatly distressed, Aunt Augusta, about there being no cucumbers, not even for ready money.
It really makes no matter, Algernon. I had some crumpets with Lady Horbury, who seems to me to be living entirely for pleasure now.
I hear that her hair has turned quite gold from grief.
It certainly has changed color. From what cause I, of course, cannot say. I've got quite a treat for you tonight, Algernon. I'm going to send you down with Mary Farquhar. She is such a nice woman, and so attentive to her husband. It's delightful to watch them.
I'm afraid, Aunt Augusta, I shall have to give up the pleasure of dining with you, after all.
I hope not, Algernon. It would put my table completely out. Your uncle would have to dine upstairs. Fortunately, he is accustomed to that.
It is a great bore, and I need hardly say a terrible disappointment. But the truth of the matter is, I have just received a telegram saying that my poor friend Bunbury is ill again. They seem to think I should be with him.
It is very strange. This Mr. Bunbury seems to suffer from, curiously, bad health.
Yes, poor Bunbury is a dreadful invalid.
Well, I must say that I think it is high time that Mr. Bunbury made up his mind whether or not he was going to live or die. This shilly-shallying with the question is absurd. Nor do I in any way approve of the modern sympathy with invalids. I consider it morbid. Illness of any kind is hardly a thing to be encouraged in others. Health is the primary duty of life. I'm always telling that to your poor uncle, but he never seems to take much notice as far as any improvements in his ailments goes. Well, I should be much obliged if you would ask Mr. Bunbury from me if he would be kind enough as to not have a relapse on Saturday, for I rely on you to arrange my music for me. It is my last reception, and one wants something that will encourage conversation, particularly at the end of a season where everyone has said practically whatever they had to say, which in most cases was probably not much.
I'll speak to Bunbury, Aunt Augusta, if he is still conscious, and I think I can promise you that he'll be all right by Saturday. The music, however, is a great difficulty. If one plays good music, then people won't listen. And if one plays bad music, people won't talk. But I will run up the program if you will kindly come into the next room for a moment.
Thank you, Algernon. I'm sure that the program will be delightful after a few explanations. French songs I cannot possibly allow. People always seem to think that they are improper, and either look shocked, which is vulgar, or laugh, which is worse. But German sounds a thoroughly respectable language, and indeed, I believe, is so. Gwendolyn, you will accompany me.
Certainly, Mamma.
Charming day it has been, Miss Fairfax.
Pray don't talk to me about the weather, Mr. Worthing. Whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else. And that makes me so nervous.
I do mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I am never wrong.
And I would like to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so. Mamma has a way of coming back suddenly into a room that I have often had to speak to her about.
Miss Fairfax, ever since I've met you, I've admired you more than any girl I've ever met since I've met you.
Yes, I am quite aware of the fact, and I often wish that in public, at any rate, you had been more demonstrative. For me, you have always had an irresistible fascination. Even before I met you, I knew I was far from indifferent to you. We live, as I hope you know, Mr. Worthing, in an age of ideals. The fact is constantly mentioned in more expensive monthly magazines and has reached the provincial pulpits, I am told. And my ideal has always been to love someone of the name of Ernest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. The moment Algernon first mentioned to me that he had a friend called Ernest, I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolen.
Passionately.
You don't know how happy you've made me.
My own Ernest.
But you don't mean to say you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest?
But your name is Ernest.
Yes, I know it is. But supposing it was something else, do you mean to say you couldn't love me then?
That is clearly a metaphysical speculation, and like most metaphysical speculations, has very little reference to the actual facts of real life as we know them.
Personally, to speak quite candidly, I don't much care for the name of Ernest. I don't think it suits me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It is a divine name. It has a music of its own. It produces vibrations.
Well, really, Gwen, I must say that there are other, much nicer names. I think Jack, for instance, a charming name.
Jack. There is very little music in the name Jack, if any at all, indeed. It does not thrill. It produces absolutely no vibrations. I have known several Jacks, and they all, without exception, were more than usually plain. Besides, Jack is a notorious domesticity for John, and I pity any woman who is married to a man called John. She would probably never know the entrancing pleasure of a single moment's solitude. The only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolen, I must be christened at once. I mean, we must be married at once.
Marry Mr. Worthing?
Well, surely you know that I love you, and you led me to believe that you are not entirely indifferent to me.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet. Nothing has been said at all about marriage. The subject has not even been touched on.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be a favorable opportunity. And to spare you any possible disappointment, Mr. Worthing, I think it's only fair to tell you quite frankly beforehand that I am fully determined to accept you.
Gwendolen,
Yes, Mr. Worthing, what have you got to say to me?
you know what I've got to say to you.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolen, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling. How long have you been about it? I'm afraid you've had very little experience in how to propose.
My own one. You are the only one in the world I've ever loved.
Yes, but men often propose for practice. I know my brother Jabril does. All my girlfriends tell me so. What wonderfully blue eyes you have, Ernest. They are quite blue. I hope you will always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people present.
Mr. Worthing, rise, sir, from this semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Mamma, I must beg you to retire. This is no place for you. Besides, Mr. Worthing has not quite finished yet.
Finished what, may I ask?
I am engaged to Mr. Worthing, Mamma.
Pardon me, you are not engaged to anyone. When you do become engaged to someone, I, or your father, should his health permit him, will inform you of the fact. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise. It is hardly a matter that she should be allowed to arrange for herself. And now, Mr. Worthing, I have a few questions to put to you. While I am making these inquiries, you, Gwendolen, will wait below, in the carriage.
Mamma,
The carriage, Gwendolen.
Bracknell. I prefer standing.
I feel bound to tell you that you are not down on my list of eligible young men, though I have the same list that the dear Duchess of Bolton has. We work together, in fact. However, I'm quite ready to enter your name, should your answers be what a really affectionate mother requires. Do you smoke?
Well, yes. I must admit, I do smoke.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. There are far too many idle men in London as it is. How old are you?
29.
A very good age to be married at. I have been of the impression that a man who desires to get married should know either everything or nothing. Which do you know?
I know nothing, Lady Bracknell.
I'm pleased to hear it. I do not approve of anything that tampers with natural ignorance. Ignorance is like a delicate, exotic fruit. Touch it, and the bloom is gone. The whole theory of modern education is radically unsound. Fortunately, in England, at any rate, education produces no effect whatsoever. If it did, it would prove a serious danger to the upper classes and probably lead to acts of violence in Grosvenor Square. What is your income?
Between 7,000 and 8,000 a year.
In land or investments?
And investments, chiefly.
That is satisfactory. What between the duties expected of one during one's lifetime and the duties exacted of one after one's death, land has ceased to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said about land.
I have a house in the country with some land attached to it, of course. About 1,500 acres, I believe. But I don't depend on that for my real income. As far as I can make out, the poachers are the only people who make anything out of it.
A country house? How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope. A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature, like Gwendolyn, could hardly be expected to reside in the country.
Well, I own a house in Belgrave Square, but it is let out by the year to Lady Bloxham. But I can get it back whenever I like, at 6 months' notice.
Lady Bloxham. I don't know her.
Oh, she goes about very little. She is a woman considerably advanced in years.
Nowadays that is no guarantee of respectability of character. What number in Belgrave Square?
149.
The unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that could easily be altered.
Do you mean the fashion or the side?
Both, if necessary, I presume. What are your politics?
I'm afraid I have none. I'm a liberal unionist.
Oh, they count as Tories. They dine with us, or come in the evenings at any rate. Now to minor matters. Are your parents living?
I've lost both of my parents.
Both. To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be regarded as misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth. Was he born in what the radical papers call the purple of commerce, or did he rise from the ranks of the aristocracy?
I'm afraid I really don't know. You see, Lady Bracknell, I said I had lost my parents, but it would be near to the truth to say that my parents seem to have lost me. I don't know who I am by birth. I was found.
Found?
Yes, Lady Bracknell. The late Mr. Thomas Cardew, a man of a kind and charitable disposition, found me and gave me the name of Worthing because he happened to have a first-class ticket to Worthing in his pocket at the time. Worthing is a place in Sussex. It is a seaside resort.
And where did this charitable gentleman with a first-class ticket to a seaside resort find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, a handbag. Somewhat large, brown leather handbag with handles on it. An ordinary handbag, in fact.
In what locality did this Mr. James or Thomas Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Victoria Station.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station.
Yes, the Brighton line.
The line is immaterial. Mr. Worthing, I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born, or at any rate bred, in a handbag, whether it had handles or not, seems to me to display contempt for the ordinary decencies of family life that remind one of some of the worst excesses of the French Revolution, and I presume you know what that unfortunate movement led to. As for the particular locality in which the handbag was found, a cloakroom at a railway station might serve to conceal a social indiscretion, has probably indeed been used for that purpose before now, but it could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
May I ask what you would advise me to do then, Lady Bracknell? I need hardly say that I would do anything in the world to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you to make a definite effort to acquire some relations, and to produce, at any rate, one parent of either sex, before the season is quite over.
I don't see how I could do that. I can produce the handbag at any moment. This is in my dressing room at home. I'm sure that should be enough to satisfy you, Lady Bracknell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that Lord Bracknell and I would dream of allowing our only daughter, a girl brought up with the utmost care, to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parcel. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Good morning! For heaven's sakes, Algy, stop playing that ghastly tune. How idiotic you are!
Didn't it go off all right, old boy? You don't mean to say Gwendolyn refused you. I know it is a way she has. Gwendolyn is always refusing people. I think it is most ill-natured of her.
Gwendolyn is as right as a trivet. As far as she is concerned, we are engaged. Her mother is perfectly unbearable. Never met such a gorgon. Don't know what a gorgon is like, but I'm sure she is one. In any case, she's a monster without being a myth, which is rather unfair. I beg your pardon, Algy. I shouldn't be talking about your own aunt in that way before you.
My dear fellow, I simply love hearing my relations abused. It is the only thing that makes me put up with them at all. Relations are simply a tedious pack of people who haven't got the remotest knowledge of how to live, nor the slightest instinct of when to die.
Well, that's nonsense.
It isn't.
Well, I don't propose to argue about the matter. You always want to argue about things.
That is precisely what things were originally made for.
Upon my word, if I thought that, I'd shoot myself. You don't think there's any chance of Gwendolyn being like her mother in about 150 years, now do you, Algy?
All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That is his.
Is that clever?
Oh, it's perfectly phrased. And just as true as any observation in civilized life should be.
I'm sick to death of cleverness. Everybody's clever nowadays. You can't go anywhere without meeting clever people. The thing has become an absolute public nuisance. I wish to goodness we had few fools left.
We have.
I'd extremely like to meet them. What do they talk about?
The fools? Oh, about the clever people, of course.
What fools?
By the way, have you told Gwendolyn the truth about your being Ernest in town and Jack in the country?
My dear fellow, the truth isn't the sort of thing one tells a nice, sweet, refined girl. What ideas you have about how to behave to a woman?
The only way to behave to a woman is to love her, if she's pretty, and to love someone else if she's plain.
That's nonsense.
What about your brother? What about the profligate, Ernest?
Oh, that's all right. By the end of the week, I'll have got rid of him. I'll say he died in Paris, of apoplexy. Many people die quite suddenly of apoplexy, don't they?
Yes, but it's hereditary, my dear fellow. It's the sort of thing that runs in families. You'd much better say